And then we'll cover some additional resources that might help you on your journey if you feel like you want some additional learning or support. So type yes into the chat if you know that you have a legal need in your business that is unmet. Just type yes. I want to see. I'm going to scroll through faces up here. I don't like how this window gets little. But if you're still with me, type, yeah, tons of yeses. Okay, they're flowing in. So when I speak live, it's usually like 90% of the room raises their hand, and the 10% that doesn't, I'm like, okay, are you sleeping or do you just not understand your legal needs? Often it's some combination, right? But the reality is, statistically, this is from the Small Business Administration, 90% of small businesses do not get their legal needs met. 90%, it's huge. Like the vast majority do not fully get their legal needs met. So that to me is a proof right there that our model is broken. We have legal needs. We have people that need a specific service, resource, whatever, and it's just not there. It has not been there in the marketplace in the way that it's needed, right? So why does legal get put on the back burner? Type yes if you can relate to any of these, right? I'll get to it later. It will never happen to me. I have the best clients. So I'm guilty of saying this one. I have the best clients. Hasn't kept me from taking care of my own legal needs, but people who I serve are generally so heart-centered. Of course, they have the best clients. They're working with other awesome people, and stuff can still go sideways. That's the unfortunate reality, right? If a problem comes up, then I'll talk to a lawyer. Or this one, I don't like lawyers, right? I sat by a woman at a conference one day and we had to all introduce ourselves and say what we do. And when I mentioned that I was a lawyer, yeah, Katie says, don't know what to ask or do. That's right. Where do I start? But when I mentioned that I was a lawyer, this woman looked at me and she goes, oh, you're the scum of the earth. And I was like sitting there waiting for the punchline. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's dead serious. Like, I get it. Like some people don't like lawyers. Needless to say, I didn't sit by her after lunch, but I ended up later learning that her story was that her family, somebody passed away and they basically tore themselves apart litigating over an inheritance, right? And some people have genuinely horrible experiences with our legal system. And it, really makes me sad when that is somebody's experience, whether it's, unfortunately, we have, quote unquote, the best legal system in the world. It's designed to keep people who are not guilty out of jail, but it's not designed for efficiency. It's not designed for small businesses. It's not designed for cost savings, right? So it can be a terribly inefficient model, very expensive for individuals and small businesses to navigate. So the reality is that, being in business just comes with a certain amount of risk. And the question is not, can I afford legal support? The question is, in regards to what you're creating and building, what can I afford to lose? And we'll talk about why we need to reframe this question, but it's just the reality that if you are in the US or if you're international, type yes if you're international. Let me know where everybody's from here today. I want to see locations. Yeah, and happiness says, what about money, right? Yeah, money is a huge barrier to entry on this. UK, yep, Bulgaria, Europe, Newcastle, Australia, yep, Snoqualmie, woohoo, just north of me. Texas, yeah, Canada. I work with a lot of folks from Canada. Awesome. Yeah, you guys are representing Netherlands. Nice. This is a great group, Sean. How fun. Yeah, some people think Hawaii is international. It feels international. Let's be honest. Yeah. Australia, Western. Okay, that's funny. So Janine, I grew up in Walla Walla, Washington. And the number of times people have asked me, is that, because they see the WA, is that Walla Walla, Western Australia? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. Is there a Walla Walla in Australia? Anyways, that's funny. I feel like this special little connection to Australia for that reason. I've been asked so much about it. So if you are in the US or what's called reaching into the US, meaning that if you're developing a list or a database, type yes if you are developing a list or a database associated with your business, right? An email list, people are signing up, you're giving away resources. Yes, 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 yes. Totally, definitely, right? Our value in these kinds of businesses that we're building are in the list. Yep. So a bunch of yeses. So if you're reaching into the US, and a huge portion of the clients that I work with from around the world, like I'm working with somebody in the United Arab Emirates right now, and somebody else from France, and I've worked with a ton of people from the UK and all over Canada. Reach into the US for their clients, right? So like 80% of their database might be US based. And if this is the case, you have to understand US law, because you're subject to litigation here. You're subject to trademark infringement here. You're subject to a lot of regulations that you maybe didn't even know applied. This is the trick with international commerce and even interstate commerce. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But the reality is you just need to understand the landscape that you're working in so that you can design business practices and a business model that will support you staying above board, doing things the right way, keeping really clean records in your business, right? So we can help walk you through that.